Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Sam, your average stat guru, and I'm here to help you build your fantasy Premier League squad each week. And hopefully it can help you with your decision making around what transfers to be making going into game week 13. So in my previous video, I looked at how much FPL points each player has accumulated this season and their current market value. In this session, we are going to look at the average points players have and their current market value. And amazingly, they yield slightly different results. So right now, what we're looking at in front of us is the total points each player has accumulated over the season and how much their current market value is. So just to show you that things are slightly different when you look at total points. These are total points, and the best performing player is Marcos Alonso from Chelsea, and he has accumulated 86 total points, and he costs only 7.1 million. But if we now change the analysis and we look at average points, so what we're going to look at now is the average points that players have scored. You can see that Raheem Sterling from Manchester City earns 7.9 points per game and it costs 11.2 million. So maybe from a bang for buck perspective, Alonso is still better, but it just shows that someone else is sticking out their neck when you look at average points. And just to show you that things are slightly different, if we go back and look at total points accumulated and we just have a look at goalkeepers, the usual suspects appear at the front: Edison, Allison, Pickford, Kepa. But have a look at Loris here. When you look at the average points, and this is the average points we're looking at, and I'll click on goalkeeper, all of a sudden Loris becomes the best performing, well, in terms of average points, goalkeeper. And one of the things I was thinking about is perhaps he's just played less games. So that's why his average is higher, is because he has played less games. Um, because the same thing happens when you look at um, defenders. So these are the total points, and these are the defenders, and this is how it looks. Alonso, Robertson, usual suspect. Just check out Mendy here. He's got a total points of 57, sorry. And when we look at average points, this is our average points. Let's click on defenders. Well, all of a sudden, Mendy now starts to stick his neck out. He's now the third um, best performing player in terms of the average points he gets per game. So that's Mendy here. And when you go to total points, this is Mendy there. So that's why it's good to have a look at average points, because you're basically saying, on average, how much is a player earns each game, because we know that from week to week, players' performances go up and down. So one week a player might score 13 points, and the following week he might just get 2 points, and the following week he might get 2 points, the following week he earns 3 points, and the following week he might get 15 points. So that's why it's good to look at average points. So let's have a look at goalkeepers in terms of the average points. So straight away, usual suspects: Edison, Allison, Kepa, and Loris comes to mind. Um, I would argue, just looking at this, is perhaps go for someone like Pickford. Um, he's earning you 4.6 points per game on average, and he costs 4.9 million. He's doing a lot better than Kepa, who costs more and earns less every point. I would even argue that he's outperforming Allison. Allison costs more and only makes he costs more at 5.7 million and he's averaging 4.8. Whereas Pickford is averaging 4.6 and he costs 4.9 million. Now, just to give you a bit of context, if you look at everyone in the entire league and you just look at Edison, well, let's just leave Loris for now because I'm suspecting that his average is slightly higher because he's played less games. But if you look at someone like Edison, who's 5.8 million and is earning 5.2 points per game on average, a good goalkeeper will outperform other good midfielders. So you look at Sigurdsson from Sigurdsson. I forget which team Sigurdsson plays for. I always get him mixed. Sigurdsson. I always mix him up with Goodmanson. I know they're different players, but it's maybe because of um, the similar sounding surname, I get mixed up. But Sigurdsson is earning you 5.1 points per game on average at a cost of 7.5 million. Um, but Edison is giving you 5.2 at a cost of 5.8. So anyway, going back to goalkeepers, I would argue that it's good to get someone like Pickford, who's somewhere down here. Sorry. And he costs 4.9 million, he's giving you 4.6, and you save your budget for someone else. But if you decide to go for Edison, total agree. No arguments from there. Now, let's move on to defenders. The usual suspects show up: Alonso, Robertson, and Mendy. However, if you were struggling to choose between Walker and Trippier, the average point analysis and bang for buck suggests that you're better off going with Trippier. He's giving you the same amount of points as Walker, but Trippier costs a lot less. And I guess there's no harm in also diversifying your defenders. You got a Chelsea player, Liverpool player, Man City player, and a Tottenham player. But if you were to talk about bang for buck analysis, it's almost like you're better off going with um, TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Pereira, and for someone like Doherty, over Rudiger and Laporte and Azpilicueta. Basically, these guys are giving you more points or the same amount of points, and they cost less money. So, bang for buck. Let's move on to midfielders. So, when we look at the midfielders, Raheem Sterling is just having a stellar round 12 so far, and Hazard, he played against Everton, and I'm not sure how much points he made, but It was a 0-0 draw. That would have been very frustrating for Chelsea. Um, but anyway, Sterling, Hazard, I would argue that you would go with Mane and perhaps go with Marshall, Richarlison, and Fraser. If you could actually fit these guys in your budget, Sterling, Hazard, Mane, Marshall, Richarlison, Fraser, make it happen. But if that's a bit more challenging to fit them in your budget, then it seems like Pereira and Goodmanson are your guys to go. Your budget midfielders, or in Fraser, because they cost, if you look at Goodmanson and Fraser, they cost a similar amount of money, but Fraser's earning you more points. So um, if you're looking at great midfielders, budget midfielders, I would be looking at Fraser, Pereira and Goodmanson and Richarlison, and these would be your premium. Sterling, Hazard and Mane would be your premium midfielders. Right, let's move on to forwards. Now, who should you be picking? If you are an Arsenal fan, you're definitely going with Aubameyang and Lacazette. Frankly, to be honest, I don't know how you could leave out Aguero. Let's just state it out there. But in terms of your um, budget forwards, you're definitely going with Wilson, Arnautovic, King, Jimenez, and Ings. But as we all know, you only have 3 players to splash out on. I would argue that you would go with Aguero and Wilson, and for your budget um, bench player, someone you stick on the bench, I would go with I would probably go with Ings. But um, that way you have a premium attacker partnered alongside a budget attacker, a budget forward, but who's outperforming just in terms of average points, Aubameyang and Lacazette. So Aguero, Wilson, and somehow if you need to stick someone in there to try and save you some money so you can spend your money elsewhere, such as midfield and defence, go with someone like Danny Ings, who's only costing you 5.5 million, but giving you a lot more. So, guys, that's it. That's the analysis from an average points perspective. Hope this is helpful to you. I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Bye.